Hey, I'm Jess, and I'm the Ska Kid who's going to try to stay on topic tonight. We're at Palace Station, Reno. It's Thursday night. It's the interview portion of our show, and we have the Sketchballs from Milwaukee. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hey.
We're going to do quick introductions. Ready?
Kyle, bass.
Brandy, drums.
Rick, guitar and vocals.
All right. I'm kind of sick, so that ran together. Name?
Brandy.
Brandy.
I play drums.
Rick.
Rick. Brandy. It sounded like brandy, and I was like, no, that's not right. Okay, I'm on it. You guys are from Milwaukee, and you're the Sketchballs.
Yes.
That's correct.
And if I read correctly, you've been around since 2014.
Yep.
So we're going into year 5?
It's 5 for the two of you. I joined in 2015.
Okay. Tell us about that. How did the Sketchballs come to be? And my question was going to be, is this original, but not. So who was it first, and how do you come to join these guys?
Me?
Yeah, why not? I mean, you kind of really are the founder, so you should probably.
It was a studio project thing with me and Brandy. She was in a blues band, I was in this other band, and we were just doing it for fun. We just write our own stuff and go, we weren't doing really what we wanted in our other band, so we were like, well, let's just do this thing, and we'll just have our friends come play, and we'll record a song, and it'll just be a fun thing on the side. And then our bands kind of fell apart, and then we kind of found Rick. So we recorded some stuff for a year, just here and there. And Rick joined, and he was really like, let's go out and play. Let's not just do this studio things. That's kind of what happened.
Rick completed us.
Yes.
Aww, he had you at what? Let's go play?
I actually blame Reeves Gabrels, the former sideman of David Bowie, and the current guitarist for the Cure, and Reeves Gabrels and his Imaginary Friends.
So why do you blame him?
Because I went to Casio Music in New Berlin in the Milwaukee area to meet Reeves Gabrels at a meet and greet kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife said, gee, I hope Reeves Gabrels finds a band for you. There was an ad hanging in Casio that said rhythm section seeking guitarist, which you never see. It's always guitarists looking for other people. And I was like, I'm a guitarist. I could use a rhythm section. I'm giving these people a call. And the rest was history.
Wow.
So
Yeah, we almost went with a guy on Reverb Nation, some singer-songwriter guy. We actually had 2 appointments set up the same day. Mm-hmm. I set one up, Kyle set one up. And we're like, well, which one should we go to? And we chose you. And it turned out perfect, yeah.
So, how did you come with the name? How did the Sketchballs?
Oh, that's all.
Just the various old buddies of mine that when we were recording these other songs before Rick, it was just kind of like old bandmates, just people like, hey, we kind of got this. We think you'd be good for this song, and some of my friends aren't the most reputable people, so it was kind of.
You don't trust them with the band fund, is what you're saying.
Right.
Right. They're like, hey man, we got this gig coming up. We need a tour bus. It only costs $10. Just kidding. That went really far.
So to answer your question, we didn't really put a lot of thought into the name of the band. It just kind of stuck. It was kind of a joke, really. If we were going to go out and play at the point, we probably would have thought about it a little more. Maybe we should have something less stupid as our band name.
I like the name.
So that's kind of how it happened.
How do you define yourself musically? Because I'm listening to you, and I can't put my finger on what you sound like, because I hear rock, surf, jazz, blues, punk, ska. Like, you have thrown almost every single funk, jam, everything that I can think of musically, you've kind of created as like this amalgamation of sound.
Well, Kyle's original thing was we were going to take all of those genres and kind of meld them together, but with punk as a primary influencer, and his lyrics being punk influenced. Is that correct, Kyle? I don't want to.
Yeah, and punk is also indicative of my level of musicianship, I think.
What does that mean?
It means I can't call,
It means we're just practicing. We're not playing that song because I don't know how. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, you're pretty amazed we could play it the same way twice in the beginning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Rick's more of a musician guy, and he kind of is like, if you play that like that, or just switch it up a little. You know, I kind of have the idea, and he refines it, and Brandy kind of helps with the tempo, and that kind of determines how it comes. But as far as what we are,
I mean, I was gonna say, like, if you listen to The Clash,
Mm-hmm.
everything that you just described is in The Clash.
Yes, that's
You
true.
know, and more, of course. And of course, The Clash is known as a punk band.
Mm-hmm.
And
I asked that last Friday. They're like, well, what do you call The Clash? And I was like, well, really, they played ska, kinda, and jazz and blues, and then it became, it's punk stuck.
yeah, and I think that's sort of true of us. But Brandy and I, should I tell them the running joke between us? That we sometimes refer to ourselves as genre fluid.
Oh, yeah.
transgenre.
Or genre, well, not really, because then we would have been anyway. But
Something and
we decided we're
transitioning
genre
into-
fluid. Yeah.
I like that. That's
So-
a really good fucking definition. You heard it here first. It is now copyrighted. You're
By,
not allowed to take it.
Brandy Lyons, Rick Hansen, 2018. Okay.
I like that. Genre
I don't know.
fluid.
Yeah.
I only know a few beats, so that's what I play. You know?
Other people tell us different things, like we sound like television or
Yeah.
the New York Dolls or just CBGB 70s. That's like people have reviewed our stuff and said that kind of stuff, which I kind of see, but I kind of don't. I mean, being compared to the Dolls might be a dubious honor, but
You don't seem to take compliments well. Why is that? It bothers me immensely, and maybe it's because I'm on my mom's soapbox. You caught me on an off day. I might pull a mirror down here and make you say nice things about yourself. Mirror time is a real thing to build self-esteem. So you like yourselves, obviously, because you keep going.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Well, the last thing I ever want to do is come off, you know, big-headed or,
Pretentious.
you know, conceited. Any of
But
that,
you can
know.
do it in such a way that people like you.
And I think partly
Self-love.
for myself. Well, yeah, but partly I can't really even believe that we've made it this far. You know, in a lot of ways, it's kind of just happened, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't stop and give us credit for that.
Give yourselves credit, because that's an important thing.
Yeah.
And it will help you continue to go places. You have to believe in your product before anybody
Yeah,
else
this is
can.
very true. Very true.
So,
We do. We just don't go around tooting our own horn. But there's times when certain bands have asked us to play with them, where we're like, really? Can't find a good band? You know what do you?
oh no!
I know. I'm sorry. We're
No.
That's okay.
But
we
I've
have met a
always-
few who are like, we fucking suck. We don't know how to play our instruments, but we're gonna play this because they like doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
it's fun. Really.
It is great fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
that's the main reason that we do it, I think, the three of us, just for the fun of it, and meeting other people, and all of the other things, rather than thinking, oh, I'm so good at it.
So when you say Milwaukee, where do you hail from as far as Milwaukee, and how easy is it for you to practice together? Do you have a good support system of people pushing you to continue to do this so that you get farther?
Yeah. We practice at my house. I own a home, so that helps a lot. We have the basement pretty much decked out for practice. My partner is super supportive. She bought me my first drum kit, so she's behind us 100%. Rick?
Well, yeah, I live in the Milwaukee area too. Probably about 10 minutes or so from Brandy's house, and I'm just I don't know how to say it. I've been a gear junkie since I was 11.
Here it comes.
Really,
for
this
one-
is an
yeah,
intervention.
pedals.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but and I just always want to experiment with sound. I guess and that's always pushed me is I'm one of those. I guess my approach. I guess we're getting into sort of that a little bit is I hear little riffs and hooks and things and bits and pieces of words, and I always get those little riffs and hooks, but I'm never able to. I shouldn't say never. I'm rarely able to turn them into fully fledged songs. And Kyle kind of takes the opposite, where he comes in with these like sketched out song ideas, where he's got, well, here's the verse and here's the chorus and then this part and then there's that part, and I'm like, okay, so if we put my riff with that song, then it sort of comes together. And I guess that doesn't answer the question about the support system. In a sense, we are one another's support system, but it's that kind of chemistry and that creative drive that I think really keeps us going and keeps us together.
They're both very responsible guys, too. You know, it's like we say we're gonna have practice, we have practice. It's not dicked around. It's not
Oh, that's nice.
pushed off for another day. It's not,
What's
you know,
that
there's
mean?
something better to do. Let's blow it off. You know, it's they're very punctual and
Yeah, I was amazed. Okay, guess what? Bands, get your shit together. These guys, A, showed up on time, B, unloaded, didn't ask questions, fucking found the basement, loaded all their shit, plugged into the PA, set up sound checked. It was 15 fucking minutes, which is in between what a set time normally is when you go to a show, yeah? Hey, so-and-so plays from 8 to 8:30. At 8:45, y'all better be fucking plugged in and
Yeah.
ready to go. You guys did all of that, which was phenomenal.
thank you.
So,
We've
good job.
experienced dealing with dudes sometimes.
Dude bros?
Yeah.
I think they're more bras.
Yeah.
Back. Step
So,
back.
and being on the receiving end of that is not always fun, so we always try and be professional and set up, hurry up, get down, get off the stage, somebody else is playing after you, that kind of thing. So,
That's nice. How often do you practice?
Once a week,
once
Yeah.
a week.
sometimes more.
Cool.
We can.
Yeah.
Is it, I mean, we've had bands that span 8, 9 people, and they're like, it is a significant logistical
Yeah, yeah.
sort of
Yep.
thing to get
Nightmare.
everybody to practice, and they practice 2 or 3 times with their own music teachers.
Yeah.
Then you have you folk, you know, a 3-piece, which is smaller. Is it easy to get together?
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot easier than having
Than
more
having
people.
8.
It's only 3 schedules to
But
coordinate, of course, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they make it a priority, which I really appreciate. It's easy for me. It's really funny because every once in a while I'm late for practice and I live in the house. And I'm like, sorry guys, I'm running downstairs.
You're just hanging
know.
out in the basement. You're like, where's Brandy?
Yeah,
I
right.
don't
The
know.
lights are on.
disaster.
But no, these
Yeah.
guys are super reliable and responsible, and it makes me be that way too, you know.
We thought about too, like, you know, it'd be really cool if we added a sax player or
Yeah.
something else, but then it's like, that's another person's schedule that
Right,
I've got
to
to
coordinate.
deal with, and then we're gonna not practice as much, and you know.
Do you think that you would not practice as much, or do you think that you could find somebody who fits as well into this puzzle?
Maybe.
I think that's what we'd look for if we were really determined.
Or would you
to do
just
that.
like maybe do session stuff in studio and occasionally say we're doing a show where we're playing the song, you want to show up?
Oh, and have someone actually come to the gigs. We've had.
Because that, in my experience as a sax player, that's how it's been. Hey Jess, we're gonna play these 4 songs off of this thing we played. Are you gonna show up tonight? You should have your saxophone. Sometimes I didn't even fucking know I didn't have my saxophone, and they were like, "We're playing tonight." I'm like, "I know, I came to see you." Yeah, but we're playing those songs. Motherfucker, you didn't communicate this
Yeah,
to me.
right.
You should just always have it on you.
Dude.
No, woodwinds you cannot always carry on you.
Yeah.
Don't carry your woodwinds on you. They break. They break very easily. So, I mean, is that a possibility for you, having a session, horn
some point.
section?
At some point, I don't know. But it's always like, well, it's another person, another schedule. We're not actively pursuing it. Let's just put it that way. But like, we just recorded an EP, and we did have a session singer on it because one of the songs was kind of long, and we wanted.
Is that?
This is that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This is, yep.
And this is what you sent me, right?
Yes, I sent you the link,
Online.
right? Yeah.
Yes. That is on SoundCloud. No,
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. There you go. There you go. I see it.
But we also have real, actual CDs for the old school people.
Old school. Okay, so this it has been recorded in Madison.
Yes.
Tell us about who you chose to record you and how this came to be. See this? This is a thing. You can purchase this if you go to Sketchballs, which you've liked
If
today.
you come to our show, we'll give you one. If you
What if they just
Oh, yeah.
message you?
Yeah, or that.
Hmm.
That works. Yeah, as far as we worked with Landon Arkins at Blast House in Madison. And I just heard good things about him. We had recorded other places with other people, but I think we're better off if we're a little bit uneasy. We were going to a guy in Milwaukee, and we went there a few times, and then we kind of, it's almost like you're his friend, and he's not really pushing you, and you don't have that.
You need
You're
an
too-
asshole sound guy who's
No,
like,
no,
hey, you suck, you're not on time. Get there?
No, more like, okay, well, we haven't been here, you're just not super comfortable. You're a little uncomfortable, and you don't really know them. So,
What is this feeling?
Yeah.
and it's nice to get a new set of ears when you record.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And somebody else's point of view.
Did they record and mix master you?
Yeah, he did
Yes.
it all.
Okay.
It was all Landon. I was gonna say too, the approach that he took that I think we liked was some of the other places we've gone, they've tried to layer us and kind of separate parts and things. And we work better if we're all just in the same room, or at least we can see each other and just kind of hashing it out live.
I like that.
And this is, I mean, these are all 1 or 2 takes and mostly live. There's maybe 1 or 2 overdubs here and there. You know, so and that process I think really worked very well for us.
Yeah, I enjoyed that myself.
Yeah, well, we overdubbed some. You had a session singer come in on Tito, and we have her part in there, which really fleshed it out. But all the other stuff is pretty much live.
Yeah, Kelsey Miles, she's a very talented singer in the Madison area. She's got her own internet show, and she plays all over, and she was kind enough to sing on that for us. So she really saved the song, because it was kind of, well, it was like an over 5-minute song for us, is really self-indulgent. So we're like, we need some help on this one.
Just on this one?
Because it's boring me a little bit, and you know, she really kind of slam dunked it for us, so it was nice to get help.
Who writes lyrics for you?
Well, Kyle writes most of the lyrics. For everything on this EP is yours. These are your
band dad, huh, Kyle?
Rick's more the musical dad, and him and Brandy more so. I just write lyrics without any music. Like, I can write songs lyrically like 5 a day, and then we just kind of, do you like this one? Do you like this one?
Yeah.
What do you got? And then we just.
They're all like these little anecdotes from his life.
Yeah, they're these
Like
observational, humorous things.
Not autobiographical, but just.
No,
I really like the Walmarts.
That was one that I was going
Fire
to say.
from Walmart.
He got that from a job interview. He was interviewing someone to come and work with him, and this guy, well, probably be better if you told the story, but it was very
Stole
humorous.
condoms and an ugly sweater.
He
That's
really
amazing.
did. And then told somebody about it in a job interview.
Well, I was actually interviewing him for a job, and this was not a retail job or anything like that. It was a totally different industry, and then there's just like this little short. It was at
Right.
Walmart for like a couple of months, and it was around Christmas. I'm like, oh, just in leaving, I'm like, so how was Walmart anyway? Because I was curious, were you seasonal out there? He's like, no, man, you know, I stole some stuff, and you know, they fired me. I didn't make my 90 days, and he just dropped a bomb. I'm just kind of.
Did he get the job?
No, no, he did not.
But he made a good song.
He made a great song, and everything, all those lyrics, there's stuff he said to me like, you know, $8 an hour doesn't buy much loyalty. Everything this guy just said to me in the song kind of wrote itself. And Rick, we were messing around with this kind of jazzy, weird song, and didn't have lyrics, and that's kind of. Well, that song happened in like a day, so.
So how do you go from writing to having somebody else sing, and what is that like?
I count syllables to make sure it all makes sense.
Did you think when you're writing these things that do you envision somebody else singing them, and what is that like? I watch because band practice happens here. Kip will sit down and he'll write a song. He'll either write lyrics or he'll write the full thing, record it, and send it so that they can practice. Or like Fetcher, who's the bass player, will show up and he's like, "Hey guys," he's like, "Right, that's funny, okay." So I've watched how this goes. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But how do you feel having Rick sing your stuff? And when you write it, is he singing it the way that you envision?
Not always, but sometimes it's a good thing. Like, I kind of hear a Ramones song as I'm writing it, but then I'll just pass him and Brandy like, well, this is kind of the basic riff, and then they either get it or they don't, and if they don't, it just goes in a box and collects dust and on to the next one, and sometimes if it doesn't sound like a song really quickly, we move on. We're on to the next one.
I have an idea. You gotta pull all those ones in the dust out and call it Dustbox, and that's your next album.
Dust balls.
Yeah,
Dust
yeah.
balls.
The Sketchballs released the Dust Balls, and they're like little dust bunnies on the cover,
Yeah.
and it's challenging you to redo the stuff that you didn't like,
Yeah.
because there's probably a gem in there that now, having done this for so long, you can redo something. You like it? See?
Perhaps, or maybe it was just a bad song.
No, it fucking sucks, Jess. Shut up. You know what? I'm firing you, Kyle. Whatever.
Fire!
You don't get the job either, motherfucker. Move on. I didn't even have to steal nothing. So, anyway, So.
Oh, go ahead. And one of the things I was going to add to that is you can tell sometimes, like if you look at our live set, not the stuff on here, but there's 3 or 4 songs that I've written the lyrics for, and the style is just drastically different. Like my style is very more abstract and dark and
Well thought out.
I don't know about that.
Cerebral.
Perhaps
Not writing songs
not
about
quite
Walmart.
Neil Peart, but anyway. but like the song "Play the Numbers," one of the last ones that we did, that's mine. And
Clown.
the Small Time Clown is all Kyle.
Okay.
That's 100% Kyle.
Yeah.
I should say
That
the
one
lyrics.
really highlights your music genre fluidity because you do just seem to roller coaster through it. Like, I can see. I know I'm gonna sound like a sketchball. You ready? Like it is a carnival almost, and you're walking through, and it's like this trip and this experience, and you're walking past sound. And there's a Ferris wheel and loud kids and cotton candy and popcorn, and you're like, this is taking you all over the place. There you go. That is a verbal review.
wow.
Cool.
Really? We didn't even play that one here. Another an older one, and I wrote it, and didn't really like it. It's actually about a drug dealer who just sucks at being a drug dealer.
What?
Was it in a movie you saw?
No, Miami Vice. On Miami
Yeah.
Vice, I don't know if you watched an old cop show, but Don Johnson would everyone's one-liners, you call it. It's a small-time clown or a
Right.
nickel and dime bozo, or all these phrases that they would have, and if you rewatch it, it's almost comical now. And so that's kind of where that came from. But that's really all it's about. But the music, I don't know. That just kind of came together.
You had that one bass riff. You're like, oh, I have this really like fat funk bass riff, and I just want to hear this. He had that, the thing that where the bass comes in the song, the boom kind of thing. And I was like, okay, let's see what I can do with that. And I was like, I think we need a Fishbone song because I want to do a metal part out of there. We need some sax for that actually. Gotta get like that. What is the gigantic sax? No, it's like beyond a baritone.
A contour bass?
Yeah.
Baritone sax?
That Angela Moore would play sometimes where it was like
Right,
bigger than
it's
him. And
giant.
It was just like,
Yes, it's very big.
So,
It's really hard to play. I don't even know if I can play that.
you can dance with it. Anyway, but
Yeah, that's
but
an
it
intense
still does it,
instrument.
But just that was where like kind of the metal part came in. I was like, because I always loved Fishbone. I'm like, hey, there's an opportunity for a little bit of Fishbone in here.
So you all know what ska is then, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I had one kid last January who looked at me and was like, no. Not a joke.
Oh, no.
Not a joke. He looked at them,
No.
he looked at us, and he's like, I really don't know what ska is.
Wow.
And I was like, you're lying. And
Clearly,
he was
you're on the
like,
wrong program.
he was like, no, so
Thought it was your name.
yeah, he was like, I don't know what a rude boy is. Like the conversation turned into like rude boys and ska, and I was like,
Yeah.
how old are you? He's like, I'm like 20. And I was like,
Still.
ooh, okay. So then I'm listing bands again, no clue, and I was like, oh, so thank you.
You're
Even though I am very genre fluid as well, we are non-genre specific, like non-binary, right?
Yeah.
We don't conform to nothing. Which was why I was kind of shocked that no one knew, but like you can hear all of that influence in your music. This leads me to a question, because you had mentioned a few times, Brandy, that you know, I only play a few things.
Yes, yeah.
How long have each of you been playing your instruments? If he's music guy, hey, music guy Rick, how long have you been playing? Who's classically trained? Did you grow up playing this instrument in band? Did you have a different original instrument? Tell us about your musical history.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, since mine's the shortest, I might as well start first.
I also admire women in music, and if you go back to watch some of our other things, I've ranted about those. But like to find a women in music and B who play drums, that's phenomenal. So hats off to you.
Thank you. I enjoy it. I always wanted to play drums. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I would have boxes and pans and the classic stuff as a kid, and never could have them for various reasons. We lived in apartments and just wasn't feasible. And so, like I said, my partner bought me my first set of drums, and that was probably 15 years ago. So I've only been playing that long, and I started out taking a few local lessons at the local music store, and maybe 6 months worth of those, and then stopped doing that, and everything else just taught myself. And I learn a lot by playing with these guys, and just kind of make stuff up as I go too. So
That's neat.
yeah, that's my history.
So first and only instrument has been your drum.
Yes, yes.
Is this your first and only band?
No, I was in a small blues band. I was in, I don't know, a couple little basement bands. We never really did anything. This is my first band getting out and playing and making CDs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been great fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next, boys? Not all at once.
Yeah, bass has pretty much been my only instrument. And I started playing probably my late teens and all through my 20s, and then I kind of stopped playing when I turned 30 when my son was born, because I did not have time. And at that point, I was in cover bands and every kind of band, and it was just like, okay, this is done. We're not doing, I didn't want to do it anymore for a while. But then he got older and he had his own social life and friends, and now there's time for it, I guess. So, yeah, but all kinds of bands. Metal bands, cover bands, punk bands, whatever. It was easy to find work as a bass player. There aren't as many. Guitar players are dime a dozen. Anyway, go ahead, Rick.
But a good one is priceless.
Yes.
All right, MasterCard, fuck you guys.
Anyway, yeah, my tale is long and twisted as far as my history of music. I actually come from a very long line of musicians. I have a picture in my study, no, in the spare room of my great grandfather and his band that played and were somewhat famous in the Illinois Valley in 1918. My great grandfather. My grandfather played accordion, harpsichord. What is the
Harmonica?
harmonica? Thank you. I couldn't think of that.
You were getting there.
Yeah, and a number of other little instruments like that. And my uncle, my dad's brother, was actually in a number of metal bands in the early '80s and things like that. But my parents, it just skipped over completely. They don't play anything. They never did. None of my siblings did. And I was always really interested in music, and I wanted, I've been somebody where I hear full orchestras in my head since I was a little kid. And I always wanted to play something. I always wanted to pick something up, and I gravitated towards guitar just because it was loud and it would piss people off. And
I hate people that hear orchestras.
Right. Oh dear.
In a few years, he's gonna go deaf and cut his ear off, and we will get all of the artistic everything.
Yeah, and I wanted a guitar really badly, and I had to fight tooth and nail with my parents to get it for 2 years because there was this sort of stereotype of, oh my gosh, this is going to send you down this moral sewer.
You're a
If
heathen.
Right, exactly.
You're gonna drink and do drugs and
Yep.
fuck people.
Yeah.
How dare you
Right.
like music and counting?
And I got my first guitar when I was 11. Finally, after an uphill battle, and I've been
Start
playing.
writing nasty grams
Right,
on Christmas.
exactly.
Santa's not real, and your ruse has been made because I ask every year.
Yeah, but it was, and I was in a number of bands in middle school and high school, and just nothing ever really took off. It was strange. We'd get together, we'd practice, we'd jam, we'd come up with all these songs just left and right, and that was before anybody had any good digital recorders, and nobody had enough money at that time to have a 4-track, right? And they just never got off the ground or anything, and that had been kind of the story. I played bass in an orchestra in middle school, and I played. So there's some of my classical training, and I did some classical training, not classical guitar, but I took not classical training, actually musical training with guitar. So I read music, and I'm going off. Sorry, turning it into the Rick show here, but yeah, and oh jeez, yeah, and I never had much experience playing out. I'd always get together and just jam with people and things. But this is, interestingly enough, it's kind of the opposite of what happened to Kyle. My daughter was born the year I joined the Sketchballs, and so I'm sort of juggling this 9-month-old baby and all this kind of stuff. She's
Just bring them in,
so,
put them
yeah,
in the back and play and practice.
Exactly, and she knows all of my guitars. One of them is named for her, so
That's cool.
yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I've been a junkie, just kind of living. I guess it was living vicariously through all these instruments and magazines and things like that, you know. So, yeah.
What do your kids think of your music?
I think
And
it's,
do you get shit for letting your kids listen to your music? That's a good question, motherfucker.
Amen.
From whom?
From
Anyone?
other
Everybody.
families,
Yeah.
your partners,
Yeah.
your parents. Like, there's a bunch of that's why I asked about your support system.
There we go.
Because we have little punk rock children who people think are heathens and horrible children because we let them do this. Because it's disgusting. Motherfucker, art is disgusting. It's supposed to be so that you can think. That's why we're having this conversation, because it elicited a feeling in you that allows for conjecture. Yeah, that's fun, right? But do you get flack for letting your kids listen to music and knowing that you're in a
No.
band?
No, I don't. I don't think so. My son is probably more into hip hop type stuff, so he's maybe indifferent to us.
You should show him the show from last week. We had Chicago Underground Hip Hop here.
Oh, cool.
That's right.
Yeah, Slow-Mo Kanofsky. There you go. That's a hard name to say.
Shlomo Kanofsky.
Slow-Mo Kanofsky. Yes,
Oh.
he used to be in a ska band. That's how I met him.
But now he's hip hop.
Now he does hip hop.
He does hip hop. Awesome.
But our spouses and stuff, they come out to our shows once in a while.
Once in a while.
Support us. We aren't like, okay, you gotta come.
No.
'Cause, you know, it gets late and there's never the guarantee. You know, the thing we always get is if friends want to come see us. Why are you going at 11? It's late.
I have to say, and I'm
12?
true to my word, I set a set time, and it might only deviate by about 10 minutes. Is that about true? Accurate Peanut Gallery, 10 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is
That's
that the
about it.
official name of
The Peanut
your
Gallery?
entourage? Is the Accurate Peanut Gallery?
The Accurate Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
Because all we spit is the truth. Spelled with that. But, no, I don't know. I'm not ancient, but I'm also not that young anymore. And we do have children. So I don't like going out till 2:30 in the morning anymore. I don't know why. I would rather be at home, naked in my bed, eating Chex Mix, watching Netflix naked at 2:30, than being out at a show going, I'm standing here. I really don't like any of you. You're too drunk. When is this band playing? Oh, they forgot to set up. No one's done a sound check. And I'm sorry, but music doesn't have to be this crazy fluid thing. It can be fluid in certain aspects.
Genre.
Right, genre. But like time is a big thing because it's important to people.
Yeah.
And time is money.
No, I completely understand. It's like, well, there's 3 other bands and there's no guarantees. That stuff gets renegotiated at the show sometimes. Somebody's got this going on, and so it's hard to say.
Does that happen to you guys often?
For shows that I don't actually set up, yes.
Okay.
Then it always changes. Or
P.S. That's not going to happen next weekend. Because even though I
I
didn't
know.
set that show up, really it's not my name on it. I just helped everybody mix. I don't put up with bullshit, nor does he. And that won't be a thing.
Oh yeah.
So you will play when you're
Wonderful.
supposed to, okay?
Cool.
Cool, yeah?
I like it.
Hoot! Everybody wins.
Awesome.
Start demanding those things. If more people were pricks and honest with each other, you'd have less of that. Maybe there'd be those shows, but then they'd just come to better venues. I think in the last week have seen lots of things that are just proof positive of how people get dicked around in this industry. And it is very upsetting and frustrating to me because I don't think it is fair. I don't think changing your set time is fair. Unless there's an actual honest-to-God emergency. Like if drummer from band 2 shows up and is like, yo, dude, this shit happened and we have to play because I need to leave, that's a big difference. But because you want to be catty and you don't want to stay late, guess what, motherfucker? Sometimes you need to do that. If I schedule a show, the bands from out of town will play in the middle so that the openers are local, and yes, you've put in your time, you've developed that scene. The people that no one knows about get to play earlier so that people stay and watch them. If you're a promoter, you should do these things so that people can watch the talent coming into your establishment.
You also
probably
you learn along the way too. Like there are a lot of bands we've played lots of shows with because they're cool guys and they aren't being difficult. But there's other bands that I would never ask to play with us again.
Yes, I can imagine that. There's some
So-
people who won't come back here because I'm too honest. which is a benefit to us. So, as our wonderful cameraman's like, we're at the top of the hour. Let's talk about where people can find you, because we've already been talking for an hour almost. Your merch and upcoming shows. So where can people find you?
We are on Bandcamp. I know there's all kinds of different things to be on. We were kind of arguing about this before, that too much is too confusing, I think, and our main objective is we just want people to come see us play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if somebody in Florida hears our song and likes it. It's not really, they're not going to come to our show, so I don't really care.
How do you know that?
Chasing.
That was my argument
his
earlier.
My argument would be that people all over the U.S. and the world
The
now,
world.
like Russia and such things, because I have people who watch over there, have seen you. Which means
Okay.
that somebody who does have connections in Milwaukee, who comes over here every year from Florida, might come see you play.
Or Russia.
Mm-hmm. Actually, he's in California
Oh.
apparently, but
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
They're in a ska band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
They're a
it.
huge Russian ska band, Superhero Syndicate.
Oh.
So anyways, we're playing at the Fort here in Kenosha on January 5th. That's
4th,
4th.
it's
Fifth
next
is Friday.
Saturday.
Next Saturday, or next Friday.
Saturday,
Friday.
right? Is it Friday?
Pretty sure it's Friday.
Oh, it is! Holy shit, because Thursday I have the big news here. Sorry. Sorry. Fake news, big news. God damn it.
Fake
Never
news.
mind. Today is
The media
Thursday,
lies.
the 27th, correct?
December.
I think so.
God damn it, 2018. Good, thank you,
29th.
Kyle. The 4th of January, which is a Friday in Kenosha, Wisconsin, at the Port, with the fake news and the scraps you're playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the very next night, we're also playing with Fake News in Milwaukee at the Bremen Cafe with a band called Dirt Bike.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following Friday, which is I think the 11th, we're at the Up and Under with Brash Menagerie, Off Key, and
Oh, I forget who else is playing the Up and Under show. Apologies to them.
is it Fake News?
Hmm?
It might be. I think it's Fake News.
I know they're doing a mini tour and they're starting off next week here.
Yeah. Anyways, those are our next 3 shows that we have upcoming, and yeah, you can find our music. You can stream it at Bandcamp. We have CDs. If you come see us live, we'll give you one if you want.
Facebook, of course.
Yeah,
Reverb Nation.
usual stuff.
That's all old stuff on Reverb, but it's there.
Reverb, Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
No,
You have a website?
no,
Bandcamp, SoundCloud?
not yet.
That's
We're
YouTube.
still fighting.
Something, yeah.
Yes, we got.
Okay, here, because you asked and you were whispery over here to Rick. I'm going to tell you something. Are you
Okay,
ready?
okay,
Because I'm
yes.
sure that you've heard it over and over again. But may I impart with you, it does not hurt to have more than one social media platform. Because, and here is why. What happens with anything that is put onto the internet, it creates metadata. So, the more metadata you create, the more relevant and prevalent you are on the web. So, if I had one thing, Facebook, Jess The Ska Kid, I'm only going to pop up in a certain percentage of views or searches. But if I have my stuff more all over the place, people are typing that name more and more and more, and it's creating more and more hits, which mean more and more pages, which means more metadata, which means that A, you brand your name, and B, you are more easily found. So somebody who has a preference to SoundCloud or Spotify or iTunes over, say, Bandcamp, which I don't know why, but people are dumb and waste their money, would be able to find you if they Googled you, and all of your shit would pop up. It takes a little bit of time, but not so much time. In a year that we have been doing this, we've gained almost 2,000 likes on our Facebook page, and we have now over 13 pages of Google searches. And from page 8, if I remember correctly, as the last time I searched, to about 13, it's all in different languages. And we're only on certain platforms, and we've not paid for any promotion. Guess what? We've not paid for promotion.
How much was that?
Nothing. You guys can do it too, and it behooves you to do so, because if I type in the Sketchballs into Google, it pops up just a few places, but if you are on more places, I can search you in more things. Plus other people will then find you on different things. If they search Jess The Ska Kid, or they type in Sketchballs, after tonight when you're on YouTube, it will pop up all over the place. That's what you want, because you want people, regardless if they're from Florida, from Georgia, which also is a country and a state. Thank you, Rick. Mexico, wherever. You want people to be able to listen to you. And guess what? People not here buy music. They do. It's amazing. America, you suck, you don't buy music. Everywhere else buys music. And so if you create more of metadata and more prevalent searches, Venezuela, we'll take that place for example. Venezuela loves punk music. Your shit could go viral before it goes viral here because they listen and pay attention to things in the States besides other people who do here. So it's never gonna hurt you. If Rick wants to be the front man and say, I'm gonna put us on these certain platforms, let him do it. Because it's not gonna detract from anything you're trying to do. In fact, it will just make you more known, which leads to more shows, which means to different venues, things like that.
Awesome.
Any platforms you would say recommend staying away from?
That's a good question.
Or are a waste of time? It's-
I can't say that I know
Twitter?
of one yet. I'm on Twitter now. And not because I want to be. The dude who does all of our editing has a Twitter for us. Apparently, there are tons of musicians on there, and that goes really well. I don't know why, but it does. I hate Twitter. But somebody tweets for me. That was dumb, right? But they're part of the crew who never is here. But I don't do anything with that.
Did you see Rick Mail's one tweet before he died?
I have not seen anything on Twitter
Look it
because I
up.
don't like Twitter.
Yeah, but
I didn't
it's
really
worth
like
it's worth
Instagram.
looking on Twitter just to see that.
I will
That's what I
look.
will say. His one tweet.
But
Anyway.
the only thing that I have had a sore spot for is people sending other people who are not as relevant as them money to promote them. Do not ever pay to play. This does nothing but devalue you as an artist and horribly continues to perpetuate this sort of weird, abusive relationship that is the music industry. You should never have to pay a promoter to get your name out there. Why? What are they doing for you that you yourselves aren't smart enough to figure out? That guy's pretty smart. I say you go with him. He gets trusted with the band fund, okay?
I'll spend it
all the pedals! but in all honesty, there are people who pay to play. There are people who pay promoters who might have like, I have 900 likes. Please pay me this amount of money to get your band seen. Why? You have 2,000. Why would I pay you? It doesn't make sense. Do things smart as a band. And if you have questions, and this is a rule of fucking life for everybody, ask people who are resourceful. People who give a shit and don't want you to fail. They're like parents. All of us should be each other's parents because we'll get better as a group. That's how evolution fucking occurs. So if we want the music industry to become ours again, then if you have a question about where should I play, or I want to go on tour, or hey, we're creating a new album and we need art, there is probably somebody who will not charge you anything to give you information so that you can reach out and shoot another message. It never hurts to ask somebody
Jess,
first.
you can always refer someone to me if they need artwork. I'm happy to help with
I was
that.
about to do that.
Yay, so we're going to talk about merch then,
Brandy's
huh?
an incredibly talented visual artist who's done all of our artwork,
We have 2
actually.
CDs.
And
And some other
Yeah,
bands. as
well-
well.
it sounds like you do
And
everything
many, yeah.
in-house too, which helps you
Yeah.
with the saving the money thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's a built-in art department, in addition to being a hell of a drummer.
So then you did the stickers art?
Yep.
Do you have t-shirts?
We don't yet.
Oh, hey, because you only brought one pick, word of advice, make picks as merch.
Oh, yeah.
Not a joke, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
No, I
People like
agree.
that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you 100%, but they have to be purple Tortex, or I can't play them.
That's alright. Pedals and picks.
That's right.
You're never seeing your money again, but at least you never spend anything to promote yourselves. Just kidding. So what do you have for merch then? You gave me a sticker, you gave me an album, I stole your pick, Rick.
Oh!
That's it
Well,
right
that's
now.
it, yeah.
Stickers and CDs.
I guess it's got my DNA on it.
And besides, it does, it has mine now too. And there's more of me in this place. Anyways, you have shows coming up. Come catch them live, buy an album, or go online and force these guys to interact with you by hitting the message button and shooting them a message and saying you like them, which you can do on Bandcamp, and when you create other sorts of accounts, they can do there too. Plus, if you set up a Spotify and things, people can directly buy from you without having to do anything. It's PayPal, and you get paid directly to an account. Breathing. Any other questions, comments, concerns, or ponderings?
No, I'd just like to thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been
that's
great.
about
We
the
get to
same.
see you on
Thank
January 4th, which is a Friday
Yeah,
at the port for free.
Looking forward to it.
Come buy their merch. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Rick, Kyle, Brandy,
Yep.
thank you very much. It's
Thank
been
you,
the
Jess.
Thank
Sketchballs,
you, Jess.
and we'll catch you next week. Oh my goodness, we'll have the fake news. We'll have everybody as a show. And tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. We're gonna try to set up our new sort of digital media on our TV so that we can play new music and we can actually show you what the fuck we're talking about now live. So when I say invite friends, I can show you what the fuck that means. Okay? Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye. We'll see ya.
Bye.